Welcome to the With Clarity and Purpose podcast with your host, Yanet Borrego. Each week, I bring you an inspiring person or message to empower you to live life on your terms so you can be who you want to be, do what you are meant to do, and have the life you deserve to have. We will provide you with practical and cutting-edge approaches to continue getting clarity and direction on your path, mastering your mindset, and gaining confidence to tap into your inner wisdom so you can live on purpose. One thing every successful individual, leader, and entrepreneur have in common is a consistent morning routine. Having a simple, easy to implement routine enables you to start your day with a sense of purpose, accomplishment, clarity, and direction. For this reason, I have prepared for you a free guide with an easy to follow 5 minutes morning routine and a tracking template where you can document your progress day by day. I've been receiving messages from some of you already telling me how this habit has transformed your days for the better. Download this 5 minutes morning routine right now by clicking the link on my show notes so you can start your day on purpose. Hello, beautiful soul. Thank you so much for coming here to another week to the With Clarity and Purpose podcast. And today is a really special episode because I am celebrating my second year as a full-time entrepreneur. I really celebrated this anniversary last month, April 21st, but time is flying so fast that I didn't even get a chance to record this podcast episode on time. So I said I was gonna record it on May, and that's what's happening right now. It's actually May 1st. Can you believe it's May already? It's just crazy how time flies. So I want today, the whole purpose and the whole intention for today's podcast episode was to take you behind the scenes of my 2 years as a full-time entrepreneur after I transitioned from a corporate employee to being a full-time business owner of my coaching and speaking business. But first, if you haven't listened to this podcast yet, maybe you don't know my story. So I want to start with that. Back in 2013, it was 2012, December 2012, I graduated from chemical engineering, and I actually started working full-time in a corporation in March 2013. Yes, I took like 2 months to travel around, and it was amazing. And thankfully, I had the flexibility to do so. So March 2013, I started working full-time in my dream company, a company in Houston, Texas, in the oil and gas industry. I had an amazing salary, 6-figure salary. I think I was like 22 years old. So it was the dream. My whole vision during my years in college and even high school was to be able to give back to my mom, who sacrificed every single thing she had in order for me to have the freedom and opportunities I have today, and also to give back to my family in Cuba. So I hit that milestone. I definitely had the job, I had the salary, I had the benefits. I was pretty young, and also I was working for a very well-known corporation, which was amazing. And after working for a year, I realized that whatever I was doing wasn't fulfilling me. I realized that whatever I was doing during that year as an engineer, it wasn't speaking to my heart. It wasn't speaking to my soul. I mean, I was good at it. I had everything that I had dreamt of. I had gone through the checklist and literally gone through every single item of what success I was told that looked like, right? I had followed the success formula. But when I got there, I just felt unfulfilled. So I had a lot of success externally from someone who would look at me and say, wow, She came from zero. She came from another country and she made it. But inside of me, I was just lacking fulfillment. I was lacking happiness. I was lacking alignment. Do you know what I was lacking the most? Getting to know myself. And at that moment, I realized that clarity is what I needed in order for me to make a change, in order for me to adopt a new behavior, a new identity. I needed to define my direction first. And then I started exploring and I tried many things, including multi-level marketing. This was back in the day. I don't have anything against MLM. I respect the people who do it. I learned a lot about the mindset and entrepreneurship. And back in 2015, I got this opportunity to get certified as a coach and a speaker under the John Maxwell team. John Maxwell is about leadership. So this was about leadership coaching and speaking. And since that moment, since 2015, I fell in love with coaching. But even before 2015, back in 2012, I started learning neurolinguistic programming, which is understanding more how the subconscious mind works, because at the end of the day, that's where change happens. Change is not consciously. If not, we would say, or we would tell to ourselves, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds, and we would do it. But the reality is that most people know what they have to do, but they don't do it, right? Because change is not conscious. Change is not something that you tell to yourself you want to do that and you follow through with that. It's a lot of it is your subconscious programming. That's why I became so passionate about it. So I started learning NLP since forever, 2012. And then 2013, I realized, oh my God, I'm not fulfilled. I need to gain clarity. I need to prioritize getting to know myself. Then 2015, I get certified as a leadership coach and speaker under the John Maxwell team. And then even within corporate, I continued aligning to that vision that I had already of helping people gain clarity so they can live their most authentic and purpose-driven lives, okay? And you would say purpose, that's very high level. Purpose is basically finding what makes you happy. And if you decide to do so, just aligning your career to that. For me, that's a purpose-driven career. And it can take many forms. For me, it took the form of aligning my corporate career to acquire the skills that I wanted to utilize in order to make of my gift my career, in order to help people, in order to create an impact, in order to support people creating sustainable change. And that for me at the moment was transitioning from engineering to supply chain. Loved supply chain, honestly, way more than what I was doing as a process engineer, to be totally honest with you, because supply chain was about people oriented. I was negotiating with suppliers. It was a lot about this element of people being the asset, people being what's important, and also behavior. I got to apply a lot of NLP techniques, just negotiating multi-million dollars contract, and also just working with clients. NLP teaches a lot about communication, about harnessing change, about being able to build rapport with others so we can influence more. So I was utilizing all these techniques. After supply chain, I aligned further. And while I was aligning further in my corporate career, I was also getting more and more certifications and just applying these with my coworkers or with pro bono clients. So it took time for me to be able to be a full-time entrepreneur now. I mean, I would say it took like 10 years of me getting certified, learning, getting ready to change, coaching people for free. I mean, there is so much that goes into the process. Even when I had a corporate career, I was doing all of this in the background. Even taking my vacation, instead of going to the beach, I would take my vacation to learn more, like seriously. And people would be like, Janet, but are you serious? Do you enjoy that so much? And I was like, yeah, this is like me sitting in the beach. For me, was like me learning about human behavior and creating change and communication. I mean, I'm just like a nerd at heart, okay? But a cool nerd, hopefully. So I continued aligning my corporate career. And then from supply chain, I ended up transitioning to consulting. Loved my 2 years in consulting, which was even closer to coaching. So you can see how I was aligning step by step, like step by step. Why? Because I had a long-term direction. I have clarity in that vision. I had clarity in the why. That's why I put so much emphasis and focus on clarity, because you can go fast, but if you don't have clarity, you can move with a lot of speed, but you may end up nowhere because you didn't know where you were heading to. So I go to consulting. And then in 2020, and I was still doing a lot of pro bono work in the background. In 2020, I started getting my first paid clients while still working on my consulting job, like corporate 6 figures, all of the good stuff. And on the side, I was building already my side coaching business with paid customers and learning, because the entrepreneurial journey is a journey full of lessons. I call the entrepreneurial journey the PhD of personal development, because you have to grow every single day. You have to iterate. You have to incorporate the lessons you learn and apply them the next day, right? So that's why it's a PhD of personal development. That's a term that I came with pretty recently, or I heard it from someone. Who knows? We are all recycling great information here. So yeah, 2020, I started my coaching business, my side coaching business with paid customers already. And then it grew because of referrals. Thank you to all of my clients. I love you all. A big shout out to you. And then I continued working on coaching in the weekends, in the evenings, while still working my full-time corporate consulting job, of course. And then in 2021, I lost someone dear to my heart because of cancer. And he was the one who taught me NLP, who taught me meditation, who shared the first Tony Robbins book. I mean, he was so influential for me and my life. And he had many dreams that he couldn't accomplish because he got cancer. When that happened, that event was such a huge wake-up call for me to go after my dream, to take the leap of faith and take something that I had started building already and blow it up and give my best with all the internal resources and everything that I had. Honestly, to me, there was not plan B. There was all about making plan A work. And plan A was literally transitioning from my 9 years corporate career as an engineer, supply chain expert, and then consultant to full-time entrepreneurship, to full-time coach and speaker. And that, my friends, was a transition that I'm still going through, because I mean, I've been 2 years as a full-time entrepreneur. I mean, that's not very long ago, but thankfully I have gotten immense support from all of you, from my clients, from my students of my digital course, from my mentees, from everyone. So I really appreciate it. And from you, the listeners of this podcast, which of course it makes a huge difference. So the lessons and the highlights that I'm going to share today with you apply to you no matter what your path is, whether you're in corporate still, and or maybe whether you're an entrepreneur, maybe you have your side business. It doesn't matter. These are concepts that apply to all of us. So I'm just so excited to share with you the highs, but also the lows. I think it's important that social media is so full of highlights, and we are all sharing highlights, what's going great, how amazing we are. And I think there is also power in sharing the lows and sharing those challenges that we have to overcome in order to get to the highs. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are. We are all growing in this journey that we call life, and we all have challenges of some sort. And the more we share our challenges with each other, the more we uplift and inspire each other to continue pursuing our dreams and to continue thinking big. What I've realized is also that a lot of the times we are limited by our small-mindedness. We are limited by thinking that we can't be that or we can't do that, right? So most of these beliefs and the negative emotions are really self-imposed. So we got to work with ourselves in order to go to the next level. And talking about that, I work, so every few months, every 6 months, I work with a specific amount of clients. They are like a group of 8 to 10 one-on-one coaching clients. So I keep it relatively small because I want my clients to feel that I'm there for them and that it's just not a transaction. They are super high priority for me. And I'm finishing with a couple of them in the next few weeks, probably end of this month and the next month. And I want to already start opening up a couple of slots for all of you. If coaching is something that resonates with you, if you're interested in seeing how I may support you in this journey. And I'm going to include in the show notes here a link to a free 45 minutes clarity call where we are going to get to know each other. And also I'm going to ask you about the challenges you're experiencing, about your desired outcome. And even if we are a good fit or not, I'm going to help you out. Okay, if we're a great fit, amazing. But if not, I still want to add value to you. So please reach out, schedule a link. I will be also raising my rates in the next few weeks. So if you're ready to take advantage of this opportunity and coaching and have someone by your side who truly cares, who will guide you into getting the results you're seeking, whether it's in your career or personal development. As a coach, I will be your best accountability partner. And not only that, I will give you the strategies, the tools, the skills, the mindset to take action on a consistent basis while you are with me, but also after we finish working together. Let me tell you something. 80% of everything you're trying to do in life is mindset. If you have the mindset, you can figure out the skill, you can figure out everything and anything else. But mindset is what stops most people. So if you're ready to go to the next level, that you have been listening at your inner voice, that it's time, and you have been ignoring it, now it is the time to reach out. I wanted to read a testimonial from one of my one-on-one coaching clients, Kim. The testimonials are in my website. Thankfully, I have a lot of them, so you can also see how transformation may look for different people. And let me read you just a little bit of this testimonial. The last 6 months with Yanet have been life-changing. I was going through one of the hardest years of my life, and I felt I was ready to take my life back into my own hands. Before Janet's program, I was riddled with self-doubt, feeling like I was never enough and unsure of where I wanted to go in life. I was constantly hard on myself and I felt like I was never going to achieve consistency and reach my goals. Through working with Yanet, I was able to radically shift my mindset in a way I never thought was possible. She was also able to reach her goals, and we still keep in contact and she's still doing amazing. She says, I have more clarity around who I am and what I want in life, thus enabling me to ride the highs and lows of life more effortlessly and effectively. Each day, I wake up feeling excited about my future and actually believing in my potential. I can say unequivocally, this was the best investment I've made for myself, and I'm so grateful for us to have crossed paths with each other. Janet's guidance has improved my life in every facet, and I can see positive changes within myself and the influence I have with the people around me. I hear that from many clients. Oh, my husband started changing and doing all these things because he sees me prioritizing myself. Oh, my coworkers say and my boss say that I look and sound different. All of these shifts, even when you don't notice it in yourself, which you will, but even when you don't, people around you start noticing. So I think it's a beautiful journey. I believe in coaching. I myself have a coach. I've had coaches, oh my God, since a long time ago. Many of them through group coaching programs or mentorship. But recently, few weeks back, I hired a one-on-one coaching a one-on-one coach, which I'm sure is going to be amazing. I love her already, so I cannot wait to start with her at the end of this month. Yay. The best coaches have coaches. So again, I truly believe in this. Okay, beautiful. So let's get into the lessons. Let's get into the lows of, because you get the lesson when you're being challenged. You get the lesson when you are in a low, my friend. So that's why I'm saying, when I talk about the lessons, I'm going to talk about the lows, because it is true. We got to embrace the lows, because that brings us lessons, which is what we need to know in life in order to walk a path of more alignment, incorporating the lessons. So one of the lessons for me, it's funny because I realized now this is my second year, and I realized that every time I'm about to hit a year in full-time entrepreneurship, I don't know what it is, but I have this energy of thinking that I've lost momentum, even though I haven't, if you look at my numbers, if you look at my business. But within myself, I just feel tired. I just feel exhausted. And I love how one of my friends, I was telling her this and she reframed it. And she was like, Janet, maybe that means that you got to recommit every single year to entrepreneurship, right? Because again, full-time entrepreneurship is relatively new to me, and every year there are so many things I gotta change. In order to grow, you gotta start making different decisions. You gotta start showing up differently in a better sense, right? For you to expand like your scope and add more value, which is my big why at the end of the day. My why is all about adding value to all of you. So recommit. Every year I've gotten to recommit and just tap into my resourcefulness and my why every single day. The times where sometimes I've felt like just like that I've lost momentum. And funny enough, I recorded a podcast episode a few weeks back about losing momentum and what you can do when this happens. It is so important. So the times that I've lost momentum, literally I followed the formula that I gave you, because when you are in a place where you have felt that you've lost momentum, you gotta reconnect to your why every single day. And not only that, you gotta literally strengthen your foundation and your routine so you can move forward in a more energized way. And let me tell you, once I started doing that, like today I feel so energized. I've had a couple of bumps in today's journey already. But even with that, when you feel good about yourself, when you have faith, when you're connected to your why, it doesn't matter how many challenges come your way, you are gonna be able to overcome them and get the lesson. I think getting the lesson is the most important part of it. So recommitting every year, that has been a lesson. And also getting to know myself as an entrepreneur and how I handle stress and challenge in this new environment that I've created for myself. That has been one of the biggest lessons. I feel I've gotten to know myself more and more in ways more related to how I handle stress and I handle challenges and I handle the pains that come with entrepreneurship. The second one is believing in myself when no one else does. Showing up for myself when no one else does. This is very important because in the journey from employee to entrepreneur, you are gonna go through so many no's. Sometimes people, it's funny because in the first year and a half, I was like, oh my God, I've never in my journey, I've encountered someone that has told me, you cannot do that, Janet, when it comes to entrepreneurship. And a few weeks back, someone relatively close to me, he actually communicated that he didn't believe in my vision, that he didn't believe in what I was doing, and that I couldn't make money doing what I loved, which it's not true already because I've definitely made money. But I mean, you never know how people around you, they may respond when you're pursuing your dream. You never know the people that will still be in contact with you versus the ones that will not anymore, right? Because as you shift your identity, it's important to understand that you as a person, you're shifting too, and there are friendships, there are maybe relationships that they don't align with your bigger vision. And that's important because that means that you're evolving as a human being, and that means that you're also standing up for what you believe and your why, which again in my case is like add lots of value and make a career, which I'm doing already, out of honestly contributing to people, which I love. I really, that fires my soul, that fires my heart. Being patient. Oh my God, this is such a big one. And it's one that I'm still working through. Being patient and knowing that whenever you take an action, for example, there were a couple of workshops I did in my yoga studio, Loveland Yoga Studio. You should go if you're in Houston, they're amazing. There were a couple of workshops I did last year. And after like few weeks, I'm like, oh my God, I love the workshops. I love the community. It was amazing. And I didn't see any opportunities from it, right? Which can happen. And then 3 months after my last workshop in December, I got two amazing corporate speaking engagements, which were a huge win for me and my business because I get to impact more people and also I get to make money because having a business is also about being able to sustain your business so you can impact more people. The more business you create, the more impact you create, right? There is a correlation there. And that was such a good reminder of, Yanet, be patient. You can do the best you can. You can show up, give the best content, treat people like they deserve, to be honest with you. And maybe you don't see the results you want immediately because there is a time that the universe takes in order for you to manifest what you really desire, or even opportunities in ways that you couldn't foresee at all. So being patient, releasing attachment to the outcome was a huge one that I worked last year, and I used all the mental and emotional release techniques that I guide my clients through. And now, like literally, Yanet, 5 months ago or 6 months ago, is a very different Yanet than who I am now. And I focus on just doing my best and releasing the attachment to the outcome because that's something I don't have control of. But doing my best, showing up like I mean it and like I'm in there to win it, that's the only thing I have control of. How I think, how I believe, how I behave, that's in my control. What happens after that, I don't have control. What people think, what people perceive, what people do, if people judge me. I mean, I don't have control of any of that, right? But that's the mindset that in entrepreneurship, which is a new journey for me, that the mindset that I've seen myself grow so much. And again, it has come because of challenges. It has come because I've had many challenging moments where I've had to work on myself, and I've had to literally use all of the techniques that I got my clients through in order for me to release those limiting beliefs, negative thoughts, that attachment, that creates a lot of stuck energy. Also, a big lesson for me is understanding better my relationship with my husband now as an entrepreneur. My husband and I, Cody, shout out to him, we got married last year. Will be 1 year on June 3rd. How exciting. And we got married. We met when I was in corporate. And then before we got married, I transitioned to full-time entrepreneurship. As I transitioned to full-time entrepreneurship, I'm getting to know myself. I'm getting to know how I show up as a partner, how I show up as a full-time coach, as a full-time speaker. And it was a journey. I think we hit a couple of roadblocks in our relationship because there was a lot of pressure that I felt of being an entrepreneur and being able to, I mean, I left my $160,000 career, like annual salary career, to do what I truly love, what I believe, to create impact. And as you can see and hear, it does take time to embrace a new identity, and it takes a lot of time and effort to get to know myself. But thankfully, him and I are in such a better space now. And even during the process, I mean, we went to couples therapy a couple of times in order for us to understand how to communicate better, in order for us to manage the challenges that were coming, right? And getting help from others is so important. And it's a lesson that I think I'll continue learning until I die, because sometimes we have blind spots, and it's important to hire a coach or a therapist. I have a podcast episode on whether to know if you need a coach or a therapist. If you want it, I can link it in the show below. But whether you hire a therapist, a coach, a consultant, whatever that is for you, whatever is for the highest good of your journey, I think asking for help is so important. Trust your gut. That was another big, huge lesson that I had mainly in my last year of entrepreneurship. I made a couple of decisions where I knew in my gut that wasn't the right decision. I did it anyways because my ego was talking to me, mainly one around being in a board of directors. I actually started being part of a board of directors because even though my gut was like, no, Janet, like now you're starting fully focus on your business, my ego was like, oh my God, this is an amazing opportunity. The person who kind of like presented the opportunity, her and I get along really well. But in the process of all of this, for whatever reason, like she had to step out and there was a bit of drama. And honestly, drama and we don't get along. So I decided later on that it wasn't the opportunity for me, and that was fine. So trusting your gut when making decisions, that is so important. And the last one, which I talked about already, accept help and support. In the last year of my journey as a full-time entrepreneur, I hired my first virtual assistant. Shout out to Jenny, love you, girl. And she's amazing. She has been helping me so much with my podcast, my weekly newsletters, sometimes social media. I also hired for a little bit a social media virtual assistant for Instagram specifically to help me create some reels, some assets, and that was fun. And I decided to stick with my beautiful VA, Jenny. Yeah, so getting help from even my husband. I mean, he has been, oh my God, Cody, I love you. He has been such like a rock in this journey of entrepreneurship. He has been my mental, emotional support, my mom. I mean, you really need a tribe in order to make big goals happen, in order for you to go to the next level of growth. I think it's so important to find your tribe, the people that are going to help you get there, the people whose agenda is your agenda to help you succeed, the people that will help you dream big, that will not impose their limitations on you. Finding that community, finding that person who helps you get there is so important. And as we start concluding, I wanted to discuss and celebrate a couple of highlights from my business, because if we talk about the lows, we gotta talk about the highs, right? So in my 2 years, I crossed the 6 figures when it comes to coaching and speaking, which is super exciting because it has been me, my friend. It has been me learning from paid programs, hiring consultants, hiring coaches. And I mean, I gotta really be thankful for my clients, my students, my mentees, everyone who has supported me, everyone who has believed in me, everyone who has seen change in their transformation, who has referred my services. Mwah, I love you all. And the first 3 months of this year, actually, I had my best, the highest months in revenue that I've had in my 2 years as a business owner. So definitely a good indication that I'm growing, that I'm expanding. I had a couple of paid corporate engagements, which is really exciting. Speaking is not new to me. I've been speaking since college to big groups. I mean, it's one of my passions. And getting a paid corporate engagement, that's something else, right? Because that's getting to know the business back end of actually getting the opportunity. So that has been super fun, and that was a big highlight. I was featured in big media outlets, which was one of my strategies as a business owner to actually reach a wider community. It's not easy to be featured in these big media outlets because you are pitching to these editors and senior editors that receive hundreds and hundreds of emails because, by the way, they're publishing you for free because they believe your idea and your topic is relevant to their audience. This is not about paying publications to get you published. I haven't done that, at least yet. And so I did it for free. I was pitching to Business Insider for probably like 9 months. For probably like eight to 9 months. I was pitching to Business Insider, and finally they replied and they loved the topic that I was proposing. So that was a huge win for me. And also I was featured in Next Advisor in partnership with Time. All about, both articles were about my transition from corporate to entrepreneurship. So that was really powerful to finally see a goal happen that I had been working for the last 8 months. And I have to also give a huge kudos to my mentor and she's like live media coach too. I mean, there is a whole media team, but they have an amazing course where you go through a course and you learn how to pitch to media. So that was incredibly helpful. I think investing in myself every time, as long as I'm taking action, it proves to be effective and the returns are huge. I was able, also a huge win, I was able to mentor 6 coaches that were getting certified as NLP coaches, neuro-linguistic programming coaches. This was from the company that I got my certification from. They hired me as a coach, and I was able to mentor them for 3 months. We would be meeting a lot. We would be having like group sessions, one-on-one sessions. I would be observing their calls, and they did amazing. So mentorship is a huge part of my life. So I definitely want to celebrate that opportunity. As I mentioned, investing in myself. Oh my God, I invested in many mentors. I invested in many courses, in coaches, in consultants. Investing in yourself is important because it's investing in someone who has the skills and tools to get you to where you want to be, like a consultant, like a coach, like a mentor, depending on where you are in your journey. It's what you need. But I believe, again, I have a coach myself. So I believe coaches, if you are really committed to your growth, is just such an important enabler to have. Even the major executives in big corporations, they have coaches because they want to continue growing, and they recognize that they have blind spots too. They don't know it all, of course. I also went to my 10-day silent meditation course, the Vipassana course. It was life-changing. I uncovered so many things that I didn't know I was still working through, and I was able to shed light into those, to release them, to work through them, to heal, to give myself compassion and grace. So that was such a powerful experience. This podcast turned 1 year. Actually, it has 1 year and a half right now. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you guys, and I wouldn't be here without all of you. So thank you so much. I launched my digital course, Discover Your Purpose program, twice, and soon I'll be opening it for enrollment too. It is all about gaining clarity on your purpose and aligning your career to it. Again, aligning your career to your purpose can take many forms. It's just not only from corporate to entrepreneurship, just like I did Remember, this took me 10 years, and even in the background, before my transition to full-time entrepreneurship happening, I was aligning my career to my purpose. So it does take time, but the important part is to take that next step just right now. And I mentioned this already. Boy, I hired recently my one-on-one coach, which I'll be starting with her at the end of May. Super, super excited. Why? Because I get to work on those blind spots that I cannot see myself. I also get to up level in terms of my growth and my skills so I can support all of my amazing clients, students, mentees. And I want to take my business to the next level so all of you can benefit from it. So I'm super pumped, super excited. Again, I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much again for tuning in into my reflections as a 2-year full-time business owner. Remember, I have a few spots opening for the one-on-one coaching. Schedule your clarity call right now before they start filling up. I'm going to include the link in the show notes. And please, 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 if this episode was helpful, if this episode was really ignited a fire within you, share it with your friends and family. I really appreciate you so much, and have a wonderful week. I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye bye. Thank you so much for listening at With Clarity and Purpose. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Sharing is caring. Please share with your friends and family so we can continue building an empowered community together. I'll see you next week.